Are you listening to Korean pop music? What makes K-pop music different from others?
K-pop music is one of the booming music genres in today's generation. K-pop groups like Blackpink, BTS, GOT7, Twice, and EXO are among the no-names in the industry of music today. The fact that you have recognized those groups means that the producers of their music or audio messages were successful in making you, the receiver, in remembering and recognizing them. A sound heard on recording or broadcast, sound effects, music, songs, newscast, public service announcements, speeches, and the like are all example of audio. Audio is a recorded sound just like what I am doing. It requires microphone, a computer, recorder or cell phone, and a speaker.
But have you ever thought that the music today is wildly different from the past? Just before the turn of the millennium, the MP3 digital audio format popped onto the scene and forever changed the way we listen to music. At one point in time, there was an ever-present battle to find the balance between quality and file size. But now, digital storage has become cheaper and more abundant. That makes us ask the question, do we even need to compress audio anymore? Interestingly, more and more people are streaming and listening to lossy audio via music streaming services such as Pandora, Spotify, and Apple Music. Get ready because you are about to learn. It's time to ask Tech Guy, what's the difference between lossless and lossy?
Hi everyone, I'm Tech Guy. I will equip you with the necessary technical knowledge so that you can confidently throw your hat into the ring of this heated topic. To better understand the difference between lossy and lossless audio formats, we need to first look what are those two. Lossless and lossy compression are terms that describe whether or not in the compression of a file, all original data can be recovered when the file is uncompressed. Lossless audio is used in the event where you want to use the original data in a file. Compression algorithms preserve audio data so the audio is exactly the same as the original source. Lossless compression is found in formats like FOTT or Free Lossless Audio Codec and ALAC or Apple Lossless Audio Codec. It doesn't remove any data like lossy compression does. It instead shrinks the whole file, thus keeping all of the sound quality of the original recording. When the audio files are played, they are restored back to their original state. Think of it as kind of a zip or RAR file that decompresses as it is being played. On the other hand, lossy audio, formats like MP3s, AACs, and WMAs. Does anyone even use those anymore? Use this type of data removal compression and it's irreversible. Once you remove it, it's gone for good. MP3s use a type of file compression that makes the file lose elements of the audio, meaning that in order to reduce the file size, remove some of the data, thus lowering the bitrate. The more the data removed, the lower the bitrate, the smaller the file. This is like taking a 4K video and then compressing it to an MPEG file. The computer takes the original data and cheats certain parts of the video. This is so that it looks mostly the same, but the video loses some or often a considerable amount of clarity and quality. This cheating allows for significantly smaller files. For audio, this type of compression allows MP3s at 128 kbps to take up about 1 MB of space per minute of audio, and MP3s at 320 kbps takes up about 2.4 MB per minute, but again, with an irreversible loss in data and audio quality.
Do you know that if an audio bears information, it is called audio information.
Wow.
And some popular examples of it are music, it can be a song or rhythm that aims to entertain.
It is usually aired on the radio, streamed on the internet, or bought in record bars or digital music stores.
Music can raise someone's mood. It gets us excited and makes us feel calm or relaxed.
News with no bias,
News with no exemptions.
including nothing but the truth.
And this is DZMW 75.5, your real news.
And I am Angelicious. Good morning, Philippines!
12.62 billion pesos worth of illegal drugs seized in Duterte's first year.
Miss Erica Joy has this report.
Philippine Drug Enforcement Agency Chief Isidro La Peña said on June 23, some 2.246 tons of illegal drugs valued at 12.62 billion had been seized in a bars police operation in the country since President Duterte came to power a year ago today. This is Heather reporting.
And guys, also an example of audio information. Radio newscast is live or recorded news or articles delivered by a radio journalist and sent through radio waves to reach a wide audience. Another example is public service announcements.
Did you know that 75% of children and adolescents in lower-income urban areas have been exposed to community violence? Help your community by joining the Center Sport and Society in their annual Stop the Violence Fair. To learn more, call on 092222. A public service message brought to you by Center for Sports and Society.
These messages are disseminated by radios with no charge. This is to raise people's awareness about certain issues. Wait.
Ang puti!
Pachika naman, may bago kang papa, no?
Mukhang di ka sinasaktan ah. Hindi gaya ng dati mo.
So, who's your new papa?
Papa? Baka papaya. Ha ha ha. Silka Green Papaya. Kiyantrado po sa Silka Green Papaya. Mabilis kang puputi in as early as 7 days. Wala pang hapdi. So celebrate your white with your new papaya.
Silka papaya so puting walang hapdi in as early as 7 days. Use regularly, results may vary.
And that is an example of radio commercial that is very popular in the Philippines.
It is a paid advertisement that is intended to promote a service or a product.
Good morning. This is DJ Chacha from Radio 93.7. Today's weather in Metro Manila are very hot today. And why don't we make it a little bit colder by listening to the short and sad story on cue. This is DJ Chacha's Secret Files.
Celine, I want to tell you something that I've been keeping for a long time.
What is it again this time?
I am tired of you. I am tired of us. I am tired of this relationship. I think this will not work anymore.
Why, Ellie? Is there someone new? Tell me. So all of this doesn't matter to you anymore? How could you?
It's because you're always being suspicious. Every move, every step, everything I do, you always have something to say.
Why does it always seem like my fault? I'm doing that because I love you, and I care for you. I just don't want you to be gone from me.
But this is too much. I can't take it anymore. You deserve someone better. Someone who can understand and love you more than I can afford.
You're not the Ellie I first loved and I once knew. You changed a lot.
I'm sorry, Celine. But I think this will not work anymore. I need to let you go. I'm sorry, Celine.
Radio drama is just like a television soap opera, but it is only broadcasted on radios and purely acoustic. So here's another example, podcast.
You're listening to Gossip Bird Podcast. Hello, I'm Doe, and I'm with my friend Donut today. I hope everyone is doing well.
Today in this episode, we will be talking about the importance of taking care of our mental health. And nowadays, the COVID-19 pandemic has had a major effect in our lives. Many of us are facing challenges that can be stressful, overwhelming, and can cause strong emotions not just in adults but also in children.
You're right, Donna. I also experienced a lot of hardships and struggles during this time. I had a lot of breakdowns, lost my job, and even lost a loved one. Sad, right? But that didn't stop me to pursue my dreams and to move forward. It may be hard now, but I know that time will come and our world will be better again.
So, podcast is a digital audio or video file recording that is usually a part of a themed series. It is usually downloaded from a website to a media player or a computer.
Are you scared, bro? Like, for real? Come on, man. Don't worry. Those were just sound effects. It won't harm you. Don't worry. I got your back. I'm here. Oh, I forgot. I'm Jeff.
Sound plays a big role as a visual element of a film. It is a tool to immerse the audience in a cinematic experience or bring a fantastical creature into life or ramp up the tension in a scene. Horror films, for example, excel at layering sound effects to create a tone or aura, and even a slight addition like the door in that short video scene demonstrates how even the slightest sound can have a big impact on screen. And nowadays, modern films uses sound in new and exciting ways that pushes the envelope on how films tell their stories. Have you ever heard someone say, "Yes, you hear me, but you are not listening to me"? If you're familiar with that expression, there's a good chance that you know a thing or two about the difference between hearing and listening. While hearing and listening may seem like they serve the same purpose, the difference between the two are fairly significant. We'll go over some of the key differences in a bit.
Do you think there is a difference between hearing and listening? If your answer is yes, you are right. There is. Hearing is simply the act of perceiving sound by the ear. If you are not hearing impaired, hearing simply happens. Listening, however, is something you consciously choose to do. Listening requires concentration so that your brain processes meaning from words and sentences. Listening leads to learning. Also, listening has a process. Yes, I wasn't kidding, listening has a process. I know what you're thinking. How does this really happen? Here's the process according to Kadian Baumier. Hearing. In this stage where sound enters the eardrums and travels to the brain. Attending. This is the time when our brain receives the sound and chooses where to focus its energy. In other words, you're making sense of what you're hearing. Understanding. This is the aspect of the process in which the brain receives sounds and decides what to listen to. And this is where you add what is meaningful to the social context. Lastly, remembering. This is the most important stage in which the sound is stored in one's memory, or in other words, information is retained for later use.
All of us have ears, but only few use it to listen to other people. That's sad.
What do you call a conversation between two or more people in a narrative work? Dialogue is a written or spoken conversational exchange between two or more people in a literary and theatrical form that depicts such as an exchange. This is a composition through the elements of melody, harmony, rhythm, and timbre. Music is the art of arranging sounds in time to produce a composition through the elements of melody, harmony, rhythm, and timbre. It is one of the universal cultural aspects of all human societies. What do you call a sounds that are created artificially to make a play more realistic, especially in a radio play? Sound effects are any sounds that are artificially produced, reproduced from a recording to create a theatrical effect, such as the bringing together of two halves of a hollow coconut shell to stimulate a horse gallop, used in plays, films, etc. A technique used in films or video editing to connect one shot to another. A film transition is a technique used in the post-production process of film editing and video editing by which scenes or shots are combined. Most commonly, this is through a normal cut to the next shot. This is far away from noisy and completely soundlessness. Silence is the absence of ambient audible sound, the emission of sounds of such low intensity that they do not draw attention to themselves.
Istambay, istambay sa looban, tungo na sa mundo ng Sounderland, kung saan boses ng katauhan ay mayroong pinagkakaibahan.
May boses na malalim at matinis, sa baba taas di mamatis, apektado ng tingkod frequencies, katangiang tinatawag nila
pitch. Mga high pitch tsaka low pitch ata talaga mga tao rito. Alam ko rin yun eh. Nabalita at... Oh, ayun na nga ata oh. Yun na.
La 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 la, sing a happy song. Hihihihihi. Ang saya mabuhay para akong Alvin and the Chipmunks. Hihihihihi, la 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 la.
Guys, alam mo, grabe, ito yung talaga ang boses ko. Para isang suspicious investigation show.
Meron ding malakas at mahina, may sigaw na masakit sa tenga, may bulong naman na nakakainis. Ito ang katangian nila.
loudness. Balita ko, nakakabungol yung mga tao rito. Kung hindi naman nakakabungol, meron ding mga nakakabaliw sa hina ng boses. Oh, ito na naman ata sila. Ito na naman.
Resorts World Manila. Resorts World Manila.
Silang TV pinapalitan ng bagong planggana. Silang TV pinapalitan ng bagong planggana. Silang TV kung may mga silang TV dyan, papalitan ng bagong planggana. Ano?
Ay, ewan.
Standby sa Sounderland. Boses ng tao rito'y pangbuang. Pero pag lahat ay may unity, makakaproduce ito ng quality.